Good morning. Welcome back to Charlie's Unimog workshop. I'm Charlie, and today I'm going to talk through we're sitting here off grid finally for the first time. Last week I got the battery pack installed. We're sitting here in December of 2024. I decided before tariffs start up at the beginning of the year, likely, I'd go ahead and get the batteries going and all the electronics, charging gear all together. And of course, once you have it, you got to install it. So I'm going to talk through that install, show you what it looks like. I think it came out okay. We also got some other stuff done. Got this table installed. Let me unplug that. We got a table and a dinette installed. So now I got a little workspace in here, and this is the electrical cabinet over here. All the controls are up there. We got the coulometer, so that's measuring the charge in and out of the battery. We've got the inverter on right now because I was charging my camera. Stereo, of course, I got it down so that you don't have to listen to that. Also have the diesel heater running. So the diesel heater is underneath this seat. The outlet vent is down there. And last week it was just too cold out here to really video anything. So I'm going to do it after the fact. And let's see. Here's where we are. So I've got a little shelf up here that's I got to put some blocks in here to hold stuff up, but that's where the manuals and spare parts and fuses are going to go. So I built these shelves in such a way that I can remove them easily. So they've got these little wing nuts that clamp down on some little aluminum pieces that I made that are 1 inch, 25 millimeters wide, and looks like about 3 millimeters thick. And that lets that slide out. I can make some room. I'm not going to remove the wires now, but as I do that, I did that with each of these shelves, so I can loosen them up, pull the shelf out, and make some space so you can see what's going on. So down here we have 4 100 amp hour 12 volt lithium ion phosphate batteries, each individually fused, and I'm using 4 gauge marine cable for the first set of batteries on the string, and then double aught gauge wire should be good for 200 amps at 5 meters. And you can see these are 10 inches long, or less than a third of a meter. And then my main cable out of here is also a double aught, and that comes up to my disconnect switch, which I can reach from outside the door if I have something going on I don't want to climb in to disconnect. Then in here we've got the converter. Not enough light, but there's a converter there. Right behind that is a Renogy DC to DC 20 amp charger, so that takes power from my alternator when I'm driving. This is a 100 amp converter, so that when I'm plugged into shore power, that kicks on. I've got the shore power box up there, and in there I've got a relay, so that so right now this light indicates that the inverter is on. If I plug into shore power, that goes out, it disconnects the inverter and connects shore power. And in here, that's just my antenna wire, temporary. In here we've got main breakers. So that's a main breaker, and then one for the converter. So when I'm in shore power, that kicks on. And this relay separates the inverter from the shore power. That's a 50 amp breaker, so yeah, there's no chance of that burning up anytime soon. And then we have the 3 circuits, one for what will be a cooker, one for miscellaneous chargers and that kind of thing, and one under the seat, and that'll be for a water heater. So up here we got the, oh, let me go back down here. So we got the big fuse panel, and this is back down where it belongs. We got the big fuse panel, and those are all set up with the right fusing for the wiring and equipment downstream. And then I've got the shunt at the end of the DC line. So the DC, or the negative line, comes in right here and through the shunt, and then to a bus bar that then feeds all the rest of the negative. All the positive comes in here. There's a bus bar across the back of this fuse block, and then that feeds all the mains for the converter, the distribution panel, which is up there. It's a little bit messy still, but I still have one control panel to put in up here just for switches and gauges and that sort of thing. And then the big one in the back, right next to the line in, we have the inverter feed. So that is the electrical cabinet, all done and ready for off-grid use. So right now, you know, these batteries are supposed to be good for something like 7,000 cycles, and I've been messing around in here running a vacuum cleaner and whatnot, not since I charged the batteries last week. We're at 90%. These batteries are going to go and go. So yeah, making good progress here. Let me know in the comments if you have any suggestions on what I might think about doing differently. My big plan going forward to make this truly off-grid, I think I'm gonna not do solar, mainly because this thing is already over 10 feet tall, so it's just gonna be a branch magnet up there. So I have a new plan. These Unimogs have a power takeoff, front and rear. The front is being used right now for a PTO winch, and my plan is to take the rear PTO, put it to a speed increaser, which I happen to have one on another truck that I'm going to scavenge, and I want to put a generator on that. So and it can be simple. I haven't sorted that out yet. Again, leave comments. I'm even thinking as simple as a treadmill motor, which is a big DC motor that are cheap and easily replaced if something bad happens, that should be able to make something like 100 amps at DC, going through a big DC to DC converter. And so if I'm off grid and I need to charge batteries, I can charge them quickly by start the engine, engage the rear PTO and DC to DC converter, and charge up the batteries, run it for an hour, and be good for a day. So that's my big plan. Let me know what you think. I'm curious to see your thoughts. I think that's it for today. Have a good day. We'll see you next time.